I'm Jana McCaffrey, actor, lawyer, real estate mogul, and I am thrilled to be on NOLA Film Scene.
Welcome to NOLA Film Scene with TJ Plaideau.
I'm TJ.
And as always, I'm Plaideau.
We're really glad to have you, Jana. I didn't realize you did real estate as well. I knew that you were a lawyer. That's pretty cool.
It's a lot. It's got me a little bit crazy these days. Well, I mean, we know that the crazy never really goes away. Oh, and I'm a little extra today.
Okay. You can't lie to our listeners and say a little bit crazy because some of them know you. Hi, buddy.
True. Hey.
I think you and I met in Jim's class. I can't remember if it was the premiere class or if it was the circle exercise, but I do remember being in class with you at least a couple times at Jim's.
It was definitely Jim's. I think it was the premiere class. That's my memory. Or were you in class with Michael? Yeah. That's the premiere class. I'm thinking of the works.
Yeah, I got the names confused, but yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely had some classes together. Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
then I think,
we met in the famous circle
yeah,
and we did a scene together, and I believe I became your dad.
you did. And you were a good shoulder to cry on because we know what the circle reduces us all to eventually. Yeah.
It's an emotional lab, and that's all we're going to say about it. You can go back to the Jim Gleason episode, folks, and find out more, and then sign on to his class.
Right. I know. But we've done some classes together too.
Yes.
So
And we're advanced.
we are. We're advanced. Yes. And we've actually done other things together too, just passing, not themed together, but a little professional stuff is what I'm getting.
And all three of us were in the same 48 we always talk about.
That was great. We were so great. I'm just going to say, I don't care what anyone else said. We were great. Actually, I think everyone else said we were great, except for the judge.
Yeah, I mean, I think people liked it. It was certainly fun to make. We just talked to the director of photography the other day, Boots, Jonathan Sigler, the guy that did the videography. We interviewed him. That was a fun project, and I was afraid that it was going to be long and, just drag out, and I didn't know what to expect because that was my first time doing a 48. I thought it was going to be just like stress and we got to hurry up and get it done, but it never felt like that to me. It was fun the whole time.
It was fun. I think a lot of that was Matt, honestly, to be, because he was so level-headed and he's so driven by his ideas and he's just always calm and he just gets these ideas and rolls with them and he knows how to run a project. It's funny, just when you said you thought it was going to be long, I'm like, well, we knew it wasn't going to be more than 48 hours.
Well, I didn't know what to expect if we were going to have to be on set for 48 hours straight with, with no sleep and stuff. And we all got to go home and get sleep at night.
Yeah, that would not have worked for me very well.
Yeah.
Jana was kind enough to lend us her office for the weekend.
There was that.
And Matt and I were going to go to the coffee shop where they were having a meeting where you pull your two genres randomly. Well, I couldn't find parking, so I'm just going to the office. So I walked in, we were talking, and Matt messaged us and said, we have mockumentary and inspirational. We were in the office. I said, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We're not going to run around town and shooting stuff. We're going to concentrate. We've got our location.
Yeah.
And it
really kind of lends itself. Yeah. But then that is probably where how much do we want to talk about this? That's what I think would stop the judges from.
It could be.
I mean, yeah, you can take this out later if you want, but I think they think we ripped off The Office, but I don't think we ripped off The Office. I think we ended up with mockumentary and an office to work in. And Matt Carroll had never seen The Office before, and he was the writer.
Yeah.
So,
I had only watched a couple episodes myself. I just had a hard time getting into it. I don't know.
Me too, actually. Me too. Right.
Yeah.
No, I thought our thing was great. Yeah, we were better than The Office if you ask Steve.
Take that, Steve Carell.
Yeah.
And Sexiest Man Alive, Jim Krasinski, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Right. Yeah. No, me too. I never really watched it a whole lot either. So,
Yeah.
whatever.
Awards don't matter.
We did a project and we got real footage and we all did really well. And you two got nominated for Best Actors or Best Supporting Actors. Supporting Actors. I'm going to say that if y'all don't say it. And you should have won. In my opinion, one of you. Either one.
They were trying to split us up and make us fight each other.
I know, right? But it was good. I bumped into Craig Lidecker last week, randomly, so randomly. And, we've known each other since kindergarten. And he loved our film. Yeah. I thought we did great. So I took
we
that.
We got a lot of good response from people. And that's what's matters.
Yeah.
What matters to me? Hey, I said it. So let's go to our usual question.
I just wanted to say one thing on that. I would rather people enjoyed the film and got something out of it than win an award versus win an award and most people didn't like it,
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Like on every level, whether we're talking about some little film festival that most people out of acting have never heard of, or whether we're talking about the Academy Awards. I'm not going to be like, no, thank you. You can keep your Oscar. However, no, I'd rather do something that reaches people on any day.
Didn't you do This Soldier's Heart as well?
Yeah, that was fun. That happened.
The Brian casting man.
Yeah, Brian had put out text messages, I guess, saying, we're looking for extras here. And I don't normally do background work, and it's not because I'm trying to be a snot about it. I think all actors kind of on any level can relate to this. It's just that I have so much of an other life. I'm still a lawyer. I have my own little office. I didn't matter. I do personal injury, by the way. I feel like I have to say that. And I'm really good at it. So, any actors that I could just be the personal injury attorney to the stars of New Orleans, but I still want to be an actor. I can't get over it. I've wanted to do it since I was 6. Anyway, I've got so much to do in my normal life that I just can't go hang out in the background of a set for $75K. Even if I wanted to, it's not really feasible. But it was Brian. So I was like, hey, it's Brian. Who knows? But let me do it for Brian. Yeah, I texted you, hey, if you need people, I'm here for you. And then it weirdly went from there because I'm getting ready to head out of the house at absurd AM o'clock, whatever it is, right? And that's when the text messages start coming through. Well, actually, the night before, right? Because you asked me if I could pick up Julie, who lives way on the other side of town and in the opposite direction of which you're going.
She's telling me the night before she needed a ride. And it's all the way, for those listening, it was on the West Bank.
No, she lives uptown.
Right.
But in
the destination, Meet, Louisiana, I believe, is south of New Orleans on the West Bank. So people listening who don't know, the West Bank is west, south, and east of New Orleans, depending on where you stand.
But do you have to actually refer to the banks in like the Coast Guard and maritime circles? They don't say east or west. They say, because the way the river curves, they say left descending bank and right descending bank. That's
cool. That almost jives with our way of life in the Crescent City, which is river, lake, uptown, downtown, whatever. We don't say east, like north. The only reason I ever know which direction north is because that's the lake. There's my finger. North is over there.
Lake Powhatan, folks.
Yeah, right. But anyway, back to the story. Yeah, the night before you texted me, can you pick up Julie? And I'm like, oh, yes. And I learned that somewhere.
You were playing a councilwoman, and you weren't supposed to have lines. You're supposed to be there.
That was even on the table yet, was it?
So you started as the women's health clinic person?
I think I started as nothing but an extra, a back.
Oh, like filling out the council room for the big meeting.
Yes. And then came the can you pick up Julie? So I didn't even really have a reason to say yes at that point, except I'm just that great of a person.
That you are.
Which I think you know. And then I'm on the way out of the house, literally like I'm letting the dogs out, which is the last thing we do before we leave the house, right? And I'm getting ready to head to the car when the next text comes in that is, actually, I might have a featured extra spot for you as a council person at the table. And you're like, so bring a couple outfits. And then I'm heading to the car with a handful of some outfits when it's like, wait, bring more outfits. There's an actual roll with lines that you might get because someone else has potentially just dropped out.
Yes, it was an independent movie for very little money. And we had a director of a women's center. I went to a man, I went to a woman. People dropped out. People couldn't do that day. People called that morning. It's craziness when you don't have the budget behind it, you know? And so you ended up being a council person
I was a council person.
Did you speak there? Because I wasn't that day. I wasn't there that day.
I did not speak, but I'm going to brag for a second because, wow, who's an actor that doesn't brag a little? In that moment where the speech was being done, I will say that the main actress that was doing that speech looked at me a lot. And I like to think it was because I was giving her something to work off of. You know what I mean? I was responding because it was important. It was very emotive. It was a very serious speech there.
Yeah.
So yeah, nobody will see that. But I liked that she looked at me. She looked at me.
That is the wonderful Eileen Gruber, who was friends with Jim Vess. And one day I'll tell the whole story, but I sat down with Matt and I was going to be the sheriff. The sheriff's in his 50s. I'm in my 50s, but I don't come across as in my 50s. And so he said, you can't do that. And then I said, well, this person, I know this person, I need this role. And I just started making phone calls. And we got people like Jeremy London.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And then Eileen came in and Eileen killed it.
She was great. I had never met her before that day. And she was terrific. Just to be in the room and
it killed me. I couldn't be there. I was at a sand quarry finagling our Iraq set for free. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, things just kept coming together. I mean, hard fought, but
yeah,
I got to do that. But there was also this director of the women's shelter, and I had never met Matt before that day either. And I walk in and I get introduced to Matt, and you had already told me it was the director of a women's shelter. And I started my conversation with him like, hi, I'm Jana McCaffrey. My first job when I was in law school was helping the attorney as an assistant for the attorney doing divorces for battered women at the women's shelter in New Orleans. And he went, you got the job. So it's like, that was a great audition, best audition ever. So then it went from there. And I had, 3 or 4 scenes with a decent handful of lines and yay,
And it's fun to play. You get a chance to work. And then that goes to your reel once you get the footage, which is done. And that's like a headshot is just your still of your face. A reel is an example of the acting you can do. And so you show that to casting and to agents and directors. This is me. And they go, not today, or she's the one. So you're building your calling card, and Jana did it for free, but you're also making connections like with Matt, all the people there. And then that led to the 48. So there's always, you're building.
Yeah. I truly never expected it at all. I was just happy. I was so happy to be part of it. I think it's a great movie.
That film led to multiple things for all three of us. I mean, the connections and friends. I'm still in contact with people I met on that film.
Me too. I broached Matt with a project that I've had in my head for years, and it's really in complete infancy stages right now. Matt's very, very busy, and I keep trying to nail it down. Every week I'm like, hey, let's do more on that project. And that, I don't know what's there, but I feel like something's really there, and eventually it'll come out. So Matt and I are in regular contact. He's brilliant, and I love working with him. And I think I've got some great ideas, and then he throws some fiction on top of those ideas because mine come from crazy real life, which Brian knows about from the circle exercise. It's way deeper than you think, brother. There's so many rabbit holes, man.
We've only got a half an hour or so.
I'm really protective of my ideas too.
So keep them under lock and key.
TJ and Matt, we're going to expand the Western we did, but that takes time, energy, and money. It may take a while, but it's going to happen.
It's in the works.
Yeah.
I like that we all made friends and friendships at those kind of things. I know I kind of sounded business-like. Oh, it's for the real. Oh, we get paid. It's also a lot of fun to make friends. And
it's really both. Yeah, because, it overlaps for us so naturally. I think that none of us think, oh, that person is just trying to get something from me. For instance, like when she says, I can ride a horse, right, Brian? Like you just mentioned a Western, right? I can be a cowgirl, baby.
We certainly will need people that can ride horses.
Yes. And I handle guns. That I have done since I was born, thanks to my daddy.
We all had old Western 6-shooters.
Right?
For that film.
Yes. I have one of those. It's just that it moved from my nightstand into the closet, and now the Glock is in the nightstand. Burglars, just so you know.
That's a first on our podcast. But anyway, Jen, I like to go back when you first started, when you were inspired to become an actress, whether it was high school or your first job or anything along those thoughts. What was your journey to get here?
Okay, you want to hear my very first story? I was 6 years old, and my mom and dad took me to Barnum and Bailey Circus at the Superdome
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little girl about my age who was in a family that was on the trapeze. And the moment I saw a child my age performing, it never left. From that moment, I wanted to be on stage in front of a camera, whatever I could do. And it's funny, my mom and dad, and this is not a knock on my mom and dad. My mom and dad were self-employed people that worked their butts off to put roof over our head and pay all the bills and everything. But they were not helicopter parents like the ones that you see today that put their kids in everything. Like the reason I went to dancing school for the first time when I was 7 was because Missy down the street went to dancing school. And I was like, Mom, I want to go to dancing. Missy goes to dancing, and that's how I started dancing. And, and then you get exposed some more in school as you go through it. And when I was about 12, my mother was actually a model in the 60s when she was younger. My mother was a very beautiful woman. And I feel like I should not say some names, but she was connected to a very famous mile and talent agency in the 60s and even went to New York for a while. So she had a couple connections and I had headshots. You should see what headshots when you're 12 in 1984 look like.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm having thoughts of glamour shots at the mall.
It was not. It was like real photographers. And back then, black and white. You remember when everybody's headshots were in black and white? Even when I was in college, they were still doing that. So I did plays all through high school with a couple. Grew up in New Orleans and went to girls' Catholic school, like a lot of us tend to do. And then I did plays with the boys' schools that had theater programs. And then when I went to college, I went to Southern Methodist in Dallas for 1 year and studied business. And it was wonderful and I loved it. And I had an amazing time. But I had 2 men in my life, a boyfriend and a dad, who were like, we miss you so much. And I was like, I want to come home. And I came home and I went to UNO for 1 semester and studied veterinary medicine. Like pre-vet, whatever we were doing with my boyfriend. We had this grand plan to become veterinarians together, which did not work out. After 1 semester at UNO, and no offense to UNO today, because the UNO of today is much different than the UNO of 30 years ago. I was like, this is not like college life at all. I mean, I left SMU, the dorms, I was in a sorority, and I was like, I need the college life. And I ran to LSU, just like, it's not that far away, but it's also very college-like. And I remember it like it was yesterday. Do y'all, you didn't get to sign up online, right? I'm talking about
They didn't have a line.
1992 is what I'm talking about. And there was, the line was not card tables, the lawn tables, like that we eat crawfish on down here, picnic tables-ish, right? Those tables with people and index cards and actual people standing in line with pens and pencils, and that's how you picked out your classes. And I'm standing in line to sign up to be a business major again and to sign up for some business course. And right next door is the theater major table. And I did it. And I just couldn't help it. And I ran over there. I signed up there. And so I ended up with a Bachelor of Arts in Theater from LSU. And then I guess when I was 22, I chickened out. I went and worked for Disney for a year after college, which was insanely ridiculous. You kind of like being a pretend actor. Sorry, Disney people. There's a lot of theater involved in it. Well, I was in the parks and I worked at the Haunted Mansion for a while. And then I was promoted, sort of promoted. I know. It was kind of cool.
I love the Haunted Mansion.
That is a cool ride. It's a great ride. It's just so different when you work there and you see all the guts of the place. It's very different. And then I got out of that into the actual entertainment area and I was a chipmunk for a while.
Nice.
And then I just kind of got tired of that. I started I don't want to do for a living what the rest of the world does for vacation. Call me a snot. I don't mean for it to come across that way.
No.
Because God bless all the people that work at Disney. It is quite a job. They really work their butts off. I came running home and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And I was like, Dad, I think I might, what if I go to law school? Because I watch Law and Order all the time and they're in courtrooms and that's kind of theatrical. And Dad was like, that sounds like a cool idea. So I went to law school. I guess what I'm getting at though, like when I said I chickened out, is something in the back of my head said, run out to LA. and try to be an actor. That is real personal, but I don't think it would have gone well for me. I remember the 22-year-old me very well, and I was very vulnerable and naive and emotional, as I still am because I'm an actor. So I went to law school, I got married, I had a couple kids, I got divorced. My previous husband is deceased, unfortunately. That's kind of a sad story. I found the most wonderful man anybody could ever find that I'm married to now, and we've been together for 17 years. So I think it's working. Yeah, and we got married civilly, technically, in the beginning, and he needed an annulment, and we just did our vows in the Catholic Church. And so when my youngest, who is now 20, off to college in Texas, like his mama first did, but he didn't come running home, I said, I'm going back to acting class, and he couldn't have been more supportive. So that's when we met. Is when Jana went, I can't stop fighting me, the acting bug, after all these years. So
yeah. And like you said, being a lawyer, you were still acting, using those skills to relate to people, to connect to the jury.
In so many ways, but even like not acting. But I guess acting is not really acting, right? It's being true in make-believe circumstances, right? That's a good definition. So I would never want my clients to think that I'm pretending when I'm concerned about their circumstances, because my favorite part of being a lawyer is taking care of people. I love that. I started my career as an Orleans Parish prosecutor, right? Like Law and Order, right? Like
I just heard it.
You know, yeah. That is where I started my career.
I'm sorry.
Right? That's okay.
You got me.
CJ is delayed reaction. It's beautiful. He's blushing a little. Yeah. And not long after I started with the DA's office, they realized I had done some domestic violence work through law school. And so I started screening domestic violence cases and became the main domestic violence prosecutor at the time. I mean, again, we're going back to 1999, 2000, you know. And for a long time, I was in a courtroom every day. And it was really amazing. And then I had to make a real paycheck. Unfortunately, they do not pay district attorneys, assistant district attorneys enough money. The actual DAs make enough money. Who, by the way, the actual DA I was under the first time I was there, because I made a couple rounds, was Harry Connick Sr. So that name may sound familiar to some people. And that was cool in 1999, being in the assistant DA role under Harry Connick Sr. It was not even questioned. Male assistant DAs were required to wear skirts and pantyhose into the courtroom. Remember pantyhose? Do y'all remember this? Royal. I think the Royals still wear pantyhose when they're out in public. Yeah. But other than that, yeah.
I mean, I know some judges have weird rules, but that's crazy.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, you know, ladies there was just like an unwritten, unspoken code. If you were a lady, let's count how many times I do this. There were no pants on the ladies, and there were also pantyhose. So, but we didn't think about it that much back then.
Yeah.
You know? So
despite rumors, I didn't wear pantyhose, but I remember my mom's eggs for legs. And then once she was done with them, I played with those. They became my spaceships.
Not the little.
My action figures, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I remember
the ball.
Yeah. No, I remember being like 7 or 8 years old, and I couldn't wait to get some pantyhose. Like, that made you a lady. But this is going so far back. This is like the younger ones of today that are in, well, even high school or maybe middle school. I don't know. I just know I went all the way through law school with a notebook and a pen. I didn't even do computers in law school, which is probably why it took me half an hour to connect to y'all on this podcast.
You know, when I finished my undergrad degree there in the late 90s, computers, internet was a thing. But when we wrote a paper at that time, you could only use one source from the internet. Everything else had to be from hard copy in the library. But you could do one source from an online thing. But remote classes online, that wasn't even a dream back then. And when I went back to school, I guess I started back in 2020. For my grad degree, it was completely different. Everything, you sign up online, classes were online. And I remember going and standing and waiting at the table at college to sign up for your classes like you were talking about. And it's so different now. Mm-hmm. And I miss being in school so much. I'm taking a digital marketing class at LSU right now.
That's cool. Look at you. I love it. Yeah. Every now and then my husband and I be sitting around watching something, and he loves watching documentaries. We love all kinds of stuff, quantum physics even. There was a time he wanted to be an archaeologist. I'm like, why don't we just both go back to school and become archaeologists? And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm trying to be an actor. I'll do it on screen.
Not an archaeologist, but I did play one on screen.
You know?
Now you're just digging up all the memories.
See what you did there? That was a Jim Gleason. Did you get that? Yeah. I told Jim the other day in class, I was like, thanks to you, I walk around on the regular in my real life going, you see what I did there? You see what I did there? Making some ridiculous pun. Can't help it.
For somebody that doesn't have kids, Brian sure does throw out a lot of dad jokes.
That is really true. I'm looking right at you. Can you tell?
Kind of.
I'm looking
at you, Brian.
I'm looking at you. Okay.
Without giving anything away, by the time this come out, it might even be released, but I just played a stepdad, and I was dad joking all over the set. And I was driving a teen, and I think the boy is 11 or 12, so I was driving them crazy.
I can believe that. My 20-year-old still dies half the time that I'm around him. Like, especially as he's my mini-me. My 23-year-old is like, they both look like me, but they don't look that much like each other, which is, I think that happens with siblings. You get that sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, mine are like that.
Yeah. And they're nothing like each other for sure. So my 23-year-old is not all cringy around me. My 20-year-old, who is everybody says he's my mini-me. He's like, I don't see it. So anytime I say anything, I don't know. He just doesn't. He's good when we're one-on-one. In front of people, he kind of disowns me. But yeah, shh, don't tell him. I won't let him know about the podcast. Bet you will.
I always try to think of interesting questions to ask people. During your journey of learning to act and acting, is there something you discovered about yourself that surprised you?
Okay, so this doesn't sound shallow when I say this, or
just say it. Let's see if we
say it. Yeah, right. Yeah, see if it's obnoxious enough to trash or not. Acting always came very naturally to me as a younger person, like absurdly natural. I can remember being on stage, and I think I was a senior in high school. I was given the lead in Noel Coward's Hay Fever, which is not only is it a huge role, but it was for Rummel High School back in the day. And Mr. Guajardo, bless his heart, he was a great man who really wanted to reach as many students as he could. And he would double cast. So the plays would run 10 nights in a row. So there were 10 performances, and he would double cast all the roles so that more students got a chance. He always did straight plays as opposed to big musicals. So because less kids can sing and dance than can, or at least read lines.
He was one of my teachers.
Yes. Wasn't he amazing?
Yeah. I didn't do much because I was in the band, but I was in All the Way Home. And that was sophomore year.
Yeah, he was an amazing.
I saw Brian's eyes change when you said his name.
Yeah, yes. He was an amazing man. And in fact, I just put this in a comment on a Facebook page recently because someone posted a beautiful picture of him. I think he was in New York. He loved New York City. I went on a trip to New York City. He would take the theater group to New York City every year. We saw like 10 Broadway shows in 5 days. Or it was insane. And I'm going to go on one tangent because this will actually tell you how great he was. And I don't know that he could do this today. He also cast me as Aunt B in A View from the Bridge, in Arthur Miller's A View from the Bridge. And his daughter was cast as my niece, which is the lead role in that one. I can't remember the name in the play. But his daughter was playing my niece, and there is a very serious scene, and I actually slap her across the face in that scene. And I was being very timid about slapping her because, I'd never done any kind of theatrical fighting or combat or whatever. And I was trying not to hurt her. And he was like, what are you doing? This doesn't look real. This doesn't. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. And he walked up to me and he said, this is what you do. And he just slapped me across the face. And I mean, for real. Like, I was like stunned. And that was it. And then I never had a problem slapping her across the face after that. I guess I was,
yeah.
As I was kind of paying him back generationally up the ladder, But yeah, you would. So a teacher probably wouldn't be able to get away with that today because today the kids would probably be like, oh, but
and people would be there with their cell phones too.
Yeah.
People would be there with their cell phones. It would get taken out of context. Who knows? Moms would be fainting and pearl clutching and who knows what. But it was a lesson taught and a lesson learned efficiently and thoroughly. And that was the end of it. And she never complained when I gave her a good slap on stage that night. I never did hurt her, of course.
Yeah.
But he taught me, stop worrying, get the job done, you know? And so that was great.
Because I've taken a theatrical combat class, you'd stage yourself from the audience and you'd slap your own hand to get the noise. And it's got to be timed with a turn.
Yeah, I guess it was a very tiny theater. I don't know that we were, I think maybe I cupped my hand a little, which helped make the noise. Yeah, I certainly did not hurt her. I never left a mark on her. You know, can't say that's a mark on me that day. But again, next babies didn't go whining home about it. So it didn't.
Right.
That was back in the days when they still paddled you at school.
Technically, I guess so. I don't think my school was doing that. But yeah, I think my husband's was.
We had a coach there.
Mine did.
And he had a paddle. And I never got hit because I kept my mouth shut. But he drilled 4 holes in it.
Yep.
So there wouldn't be air resistance. Yep. And if he broke that paddle on your ass, you had to make a new one.
Wow. Zena, I gotta say, I don't approve of that. Like, I can't.
Right.
You know,
It is what's
even as a tough Gen Xer, I don't approve of that nonsense.
I agree.
Well,
But
nonsense was the nice word.
I got paddled my senior year of high school by the football coach. Same thing. He had the holes drilled in his.
And what great sin did you commit? Did you fumble? Like what?
I left my helmet. On the field. So on Thursdays before game day, we didn't have full pad practice. It was just helmets and shorts. And we walked through the plays just once up the field. So we'd run 10 plays. So every 10 yards, we'd move it. And then at the other end of the field, he would do a quick pep talk and we would race 100 yards back to the field house. And then he gave the big hoorah speech for the next day. And I just spaced it and left my helmet sitting on the field. So Friday, I went into the field house during lunch to make sure all my stuff was ready to go because I think we had an out of town game that night. I got to my locker and my helmet was missing. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm not sure who's about to tote a ass whipping, but I'm going to find my helmet. And I walked by the coach's office and I saw 2 helmets sitting on his desk. I'm like, damn it. And I kind of walked up to the edge of the office and I looked and I saw a sticky note that said, do not touch. See coach. And he gave us an option.
Blood just drained out of your face. I'm sorry.
And he was a beefy guy too. So the option was get one thwack from the paddle or run bleachers. And I'm like, game day? Yeah, give me a thwack. It was one of the other.
Less sorry for you now, actually.
I mean,
I was picturing it way worse. I mean, it was how serious was the thwack? Let me recalculate.
So he would rear way back, and I saw the other guy. The other guy went first, and he would rear way back and come from like way up north, and then he would stop close and just kind of with like a ping pong flick of the wrist. But it still stung because, I mean, even that little thwack, it was.
Sure. Yeah. He knew how to do it. Get the wrist in.
So I had to earn my helmet back with a paddle, either that or bleachers. And
yeah. Now, again, maybe it's because I'm a Gen X baby. That's not the cruelest thing of it. Like again, he would never get away with that today. In fact, it is technically, it's not even just battery, really. It's aggravated battery, if you would like to know the legal description.
Well, so back then, though, you had the parents had to sign consent. They could, parents could opt out of it. And if the parents opted out, then there was whatever other punishment. If my parents, well, actually, I don't think they opted in on this one. But I mean, I was 17. I could make my own decisions, and I chose a paddling one lick from a paddle versus 20 bleachers.
I might even choose that. I don't know. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's good.
Trust me, the licks that night were much worse than that one little paddling.
Right? Yeah. No. Right. But but like your real stuff, I can't even remember the movie, but there is a movie. It's an older movie I want to say it was like Philip Seymour Hoffman, God rest his soul, was in it when he was a teenager. Do you know what I'm talking about? They're teenagers at some private school and they get unless I'm mixing that up with
Is that
I might be
for
mixing it.
honors? For honors with Matt Damon or no?
Maybe. I don't. And then, you know what? I might actually be. I'm seeing him. Wasn't he in the one with Al Pacino? And,
Scent of a Woman.
yes. The point is that there was a sick ass teacher. I said, is that okay? Is that word okay?
Fuck yeah.
Think. At the school, and he paddled the boys when they stepped out of line in whatever way, and it was tremendously abusive. It was horrible. Like, I couldn't watch it. And that was a younger person watching, but even today, and maybe especially because I am the mother of sons, and God knew what he was doing when he gave me boys. I am such a boy mom. But when I see boys in pain to the point of tears, like emotion, like it just, every now and then when I'm thinking about, I just realized what an insane tangent we went on, because I never get to answer your question about what I learned about myself. I went to Chuck Guajardo and the slap, and then I'm going to circle back in a second.
Okay.
After all this time. But I'm either doing one of two things when you see me having some extreme emotions in a scene to where it even brings tears to my eyes. I'm either being insanely brilliant actress, and I am so in the moment that's all that is real to me. Or I'm imagining like a 12-year-old boy having his heart ripped out, because it will crack me up every time. Like, I can see a 12-year-old girl whine all day. Be like, get the hell over it, But
you did find that out about yourself. What are your triggers
to
use in an acting scene?
Yeah,
I definitely did, but I've known that I was preparing for this trip back to acting a long time ago. So I knew that a long time ago. This is what I learned. This is how Chuck Guajardo came back into my heart. Not in my heart, but in my mind right now. Acting was like, at least it felt like falling off a log back in the day. A good friend of mine's sister and her boyfriend at the time were like PhD students in acting at LSU, and they came and saw me in this play just because the little sister was my friend. I don't know why they would waste time, but I remember him saying to me, I've never seen a high school student act on this level. This was a great performance. Thank you. This wonderful, And then I remember how easy it was for me to be in the moment, which is not completely, it's not like I'm with some hugely brilliant child. I mean, children live in the moment, right? Jim Gleason himself always says never be on stage with a child or a dog, because they're always just completely in the moment, right? And then you do it. So I'm not saying that I used to be so brilliant. I just remember how it was being on stage or in front of a camera back then. And it was what I learned about myself going back, especially film acting as an adult, was the world has entered and changed me, and it is not as easy anymore. And it is a whole different ball game, right? Being when someone says action, or, the teacher clicks the button and you hear beep and you're ready to be in the moment. It's a whole different ball game to get in the moment. And that's one thing I learned about myself was it's not as natural anymore. And I had to get back to that. I'm not saying I'm back there. I'm still getting back there every time, because we're just, I'm 52 years old now, and like a lot of life has happened, and nerves happen that didn't used to happen, because I have a whole other set of, I got to prove myself here. I got to do it. I find on real movie sets, as opposed to acting class, is actually easier, even though you got a camera in your face and a boom mic and a sound guy in your face and other things happening. It's actually easier than in acting class. The nerves are more there in acting class. Do you guys find that?
I do, yes. If you've ever done any kind of training program where they do scenarios and you have to like pretend, I kind of equate it to that. Those were always a little harder to do than what it would be like in the real world, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there is a local acting classes that I actually really, really enjoy, except for the fact that this person starts the classes with a little bit of silly improv. I hate that. I hate it. I'll still go back to the classes. I'll still pay the money. This person still has a lot to teach and is great at it.
That technique to loosen people up doesn't loosen you up.
It does not loosen me up. It makes me clench up to the point that I'm like, I'm just going to wait out here.
So
I'm going to wait outside until you're finished with that.
Does it make you clinch up because you really want to get everything right?
No, I just hate it.
Okay, no problem.
Just personally don't like I don't like improv. I only like, this gonna make me sound like a total asshole. Dear audience, I'm sorry if I sound like a total asshole. TJ and Brian, no, I'm not really an asshole.
She's not a total asshole.
I only even like watching improv at the highest levels. I mean, the people that are talented at improv are amazing. Like I can hardly comprehend because they're so good. They're just so quick on their feet. They're just so funny. They're just so funny or dramatic. It's just like, wow. Maybe that's just because I'm bad at it, right? So I don't know. But I did do a couple of improv classes. And the reason I forced myself through the door was because I was having this issue with, I got to get back in the moment. And in improv, you have no choice but to get in the moment. Nothing exists but the moment in improv, because you're in the moment and you either do something or just give up. And so I took a couple classes and I was like, okay, got it. Like I remembered what it was to be like in the moment. And if the person that, I took the improv classes was like, why did she never come back? It's not because I think I'm an expert now. Far, far from it. I truly admire people that are amazing at improv. And I could never do it. But my whole point in doing the class was remembering what it was like to just be in the moment. I mean, I even remember that first time in a class with Jim where we did a scene and a tear rolled down my face. And then after we did the playback and he asked me, he was like, I really want to know, where were you in that moment? And I was like, I swear to God, the answer is in that moment. That was like the best. Isn't that like one of the best feelings?
Yeah, totally.
After you walk out of class and you're like, I did it. That was cool.
And it's hard to explain unless you've experienced it.
Yeah. It just sounds like a weird narcissistic actor thing if you haven't experienced it. Yeah.
No,
it sounds like that. But like when you first started, when you were younger, it was just you were there. There was no inhibition. There was no things that happen in life that make you want to hold things in. So you would just play. So as you got back, and young children just play. They all pretend we're a superhero. And it's not like, are they going to like me being a superhero? You're like, no, I'm Superman. I don't care.
Yeah.
And the other part.
Even in public. Yeah, you don't care.
Yeah. And that's the being in the moment and recapturing that and letting go. Audition versus on set. I have not done theatrical, so I can't speak to that. I'm assuming it's the same. It's easier to lose yourself on a set because everything's there. You don't have to imagine it. The person is there. Whereas an audition, it's an empty room, you and the camera and the person behind the camera and a reader, if they're two different people.
Yes. Yeah. And the nerves. Because you feel like it's all on the line, like for the jobs. It's so crazy. And that's why it's weird, but everything's there. And plus the extras, right? You've got other people. You've got, like I said earlier, the camera, the sound guy, the boom mic, wherever it's at. You might have somebody like this far from your face that the camera can't see. But because the other elements are there, the rest can disappear in a way that doesn't happen when you're in an audition. You're still like, oh, does she like me or does he like me? I don't know.
Audition or class, it's that achievement mentality that we have to, as actors, get past. I want to get a good grade in the class, even if they don't get grade, so I have to get a good performance. Am I doing good? And that fights in your head instead of being the character.
Exactly.
In an audition, instead of being, you try to be, I'm just the person and living this moment in life, but you're also like, am I going to book the job? Is my agent going to like it? What does it look like? Another take, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's so hard to get all the noise out of your head. So completely hard. And like Jim says, the camera picks up everything. The camera reads it. Although, in my humble defense, I will say this is one thing I've had to struggle with is, Jim and I have had an extensive discussion about this, is that you want to know what I really learned about myself? This is a big deal. This is a big deal because I'm having kids. Because I'm like, honey, our kids think I'm so mean. Because, I'm really not that mean. And it's this. Because, that's the thing, is what I learned being on camera in class is that I might want to kill you right now face is the same as, I am so concerned about you. You see? Do you understand that? I'm looking at, myself a little. I can't yet. But you know, this is not, you know, the quality. But yeah, I got. There we go.
Yeah.
Do that. That is, I am really concerned, or I fucking hate you. And so that is a big thing I learned about myself, is that sometimes when I am very serious and very upset, very concerned in a loving way, I have to I have to pick it up a little. I know, I like, a smile isn't appropriate in the moment, but I have to make sure I'm hating you. That was a big, weird thing to learn about myself on camera.
Ooh. And we are out of time.
On that note,
Jana, do you have any socials that you want to plug? Do you want to plug your law firm? Do you know, any of that you want to plug? We can plug it.
You know, law office of Jana McCaffery. Blood, sweat, and tears went into that. I do almost exclusively personal injury, you know, your motor vehicle accidents. I've done a good handful of dog bites in my life. They're hard cases. And I always, when I hand my cards and pens to people, feel morally and ethically obligated to say, I hope you never need me. Because if you need me, it means you're hurt, even though it's how I make my living.
Right.
But again, I do love taking care of people. So, yeah, I mean, if people need me, I'm there. jmacllc.net is there, just like it sounds. So that'll be my plug. But mostly, I really just want to be an actor. And thank you guys. This was fun.
Yeah.
Pod dismissed.